The stage lights of Ireland's Got Talent blaze brighter than anything Ramon Cruz has ever known. He stands alone at center stage, shoulders slightly hunched, fingers trembling as they grip the microphone. The polished floor beneath his worn shoes feels unreal, so different from the cracked pavements of Manila, where his journey began. Back there, music was not a dream, it was survival. Ramon grew up in a tiny shack squeezed between rusted roofs and narrow alleys. At night, when the city hummed and traffic never slept, he would sing Elvis Presley songs beside street food stalls, his voice competing with jeepney horns and laughter. Some nights he earned a few coins, some nights nothing at all. But he always sang, because singing made hunger quieter and dreams louder. Poverty followed him like a shadow, yet hope never fully left. Now, thousands of miles away in Dublin, Ramon introduces himself in a soft, respectful voice. He explains he came to Ireland as a migrant worker, cleaning offices after midnight, sending every spare euro back to his family in the Philippines. The audience listens closely, sensing the weight behind his words. On the judges' panel, Simon Cowell smiles gently, polite but uncertain. Another judge nods with sympathy, while Amanda's eyes soften. Raymond's clothes are simple. Nothing flashy, nothing staged. It's clear he didn't come from comfort. He bows slightly, a habit from years of humility, and thanks Ireland for letting someone poor like me stand on this stage. The audience applauds, warm but cautious. Simon leans back, still smiling, clearly expecting a familiar audition story. No one yet realizes that this quiet Filipino man, shaped by Manila's hardship, is about to change the mood of the entire room forever. Ramon takes a slow breath, steadying himself as the silence stretches across the theater. When asked what he will sing, he answers simply, an Elvis Presley song. A soft ripple of reaction moves through the audience, some intrigued, others clearly doubtful. Elvis impersonations have been seen countless times, and expectations instantly lower. At the judges' table, Simon Cowell's smile grows a little wider, the kind that suggests polite amusement rather than belief. Simon crosses his arms and nods, as if to say, "All right, let's see what you've got." One judge exchanges a quick glance with another, eyebrows raised. Amanda presses her lips together, offering Ramon an encouraging smile, while another judge leans back, unsure. The room is balanced on skepticism. Ramon closes his eyes for a brief moment. In his mind, he is no longer on a grand Irish stage. He is back in Manila, standing under a flickering streetlight, singing to strangers who may or may not stop. He remembers nights when rain soaked his clothes, when his stomach ached with hunger, when music was the only thing that kept him standing. That memory grounds him. The backing track begins softly. Simon tilts his head, still relaxed, still smiling. The audience shifts in their seats, bracing themselves for something ordinary. Ramon lifts the microphone with both hands, his posture humble, almost fragile. For a second, his voice hesitates, not from fear, but from emotion held too long. Then he opens his mouth. The first note hasn't even fully landed yet, but something in Raymond's tone makes a few heads lift. Simon's smile pauses, just slightly. The air changes, not enough for anyone to understand why, but enough to feel that this performance may not go the way anyone expected. The first full line leaves Raymond's lips, and in an instant, the theater falls completely still. His voice is deep, warm, and textured with a pain that can't be taught or copied. This is not an Elvis impersonation, it's a soul speaking through an Elvis melody. The sound rolls through the room like a quiet storm, powerful yet controlled. Simon Cowell's smile disappears. He straightens in his chair, eyes narrowing not in judgment, but in disbelief. He leans forward slowly, elbows resting on the table, as if afraid to miss a single note. The casual confidence he wore seconds ago is gone. Around him, the other judges react without realizing it. One judge's mouth parts slightly, another's eyes begin to glisten. Ramon sings with his eyes closed, his face tense with emotion. Every lyric carries the weight of Manila's streets, of nights spent singing for coins, of working endless hours in Ireland just to keep his family alive back home. His voice trembles, not from weakness, but from truth. The audience feels it in their chests. Some clasp their hands, others stop breathing altogether. As Ramon reaches the chorus, his voice swells, rich and aching, filling every corner of the hall. A woman in the front row wipes her eyes. A man grips his seat, stunned. The judges are no longer evaluating, they are listening as human beings. Simon remains frozen, staring at Ramon, his expression unreadable but intense. The room understands it now. This performance is no longer an audition. It's a confession, a life poured into song. And with every note, Ramon pulls the judges, and the entire audience, deeper into his story, unable to look away. As Ramon reaches the final verse, the emotion in his voice deepens, cracking ever so slightly without losing control. The vulnerability hits harder than any high note ever could. When the last line fades into silence, it lingers in the air like a held breath. For a heartbeat, no one moves. Then the audience erupts. Applause crashes through the theater, raw and overwhelming. People rise to their feet instinctively. Some clap above their heads, others wipe tears from their faces, stunned by what they've just witnessed. Ramon lowers his head, overwhelmed, his shoulders shaking as he tries to hold himself together. At the judges' table, the transformation is unmistakable. One judge presses a hand to their mouth, eyes shining. Amanda's cheeks are wet with tears, her voice unsteady as she tries to speak but can't at first. She takes a breath, visibly moved. "That wasn't a performance," she finally says. "That was your life." Simon Cowell remains silent, staring at Ramon with glassy eyes. When he finally speaks, his voice is slower, deeper than before. "I smiled at the beginning," he admits honestly. "Because I thought I knew what was coming." He pauses, swallowing hard. "But then you stopped me cold. I felt every word. That was real." The audience reacts again, louder this time, sensing how deeply the moment has affected the judges. Simon blinks rapidly, emotion breaking through his usual composure. For a rare moment, the sharp-tongued judge has nothing clever to say, only truth. Ramon looks up, tears streaming freely now. For the first time, he sees not judges, not celebrities, but people who truly understand his struggle. The distance between the poor streets of Manila and this grand Irish stage suddenly feels smaller. His voice didn't just impress them, it touched them. Ramon stands center stage, the applause still echoing around him like a wave that refuses to fade. His hands shake as he wipes his tears, struggling to process what has just happened. Just minutes ago, he was a poor Filipino cleaner from Manila, standing nervously before strangers in Ireland. Now, the entire theater is on its feet, cheering his name. Simon is the first to cast his vote. He leans forward, presses the button firmly, and says, "Yes. 100% yes." The sound of approval sends another roar through the audience. Amanda follows, her voice still trembling with emotion. "You reminded us why music matters," she says softly. Before giving her yes, one by one, the remaining judges vote the same. 4 yeses. No hesitation. Ramon drops his head, overwhelmed. He clasps his hands together and bows deeply, a gesture born from years of humility and gratitude. Tears stream freely down his face as he whispers thank you, again and again, to Ireland, to the judges, to anyone who believed in him when life never did. Golden light rains down from above, bathing the stage in warmth. In that moment, Ramon remembers his family back in Manila, the small room, the thin walls, the sacrifices. He imagines telling them that their struggles were not in vain, that their son's voice traveled across oceans and finally found a place to be heard. Simon stands once more, clapping with genuine respect, his eyes still wet. The judges smile through tears, knowing they've witnessed something rare. Ramon looks up, hope shining brighter than the stage lights. His journey is far from over, but one thing is certain. The boy who once sang Elvis for spare coins has taken his first step toward a future bigger than poverty, carried forward by a voice the world can no longer ignore.